Some people look at everything a bit differently. They do things differently. They don't just go along with the normal. They don't just follow along with the herd. They create, they invent, they change things, they push innovation forward. You need to know that each and every single one of us has that creative potential. Creativity is one of the most important skills we can develop, yet it's often overlooked as something that everybody should work on. Creativity is often thought to be a skill that people either are born with or they're not, but that's far from the truth. Don't limit your potential by holding on to the idea that people are either creative or they're not. What is true is that some people take the time to focus on their creativity and others do not. Creativity is something we need to develop, something we need to be working on continually in order to improve it. That is true for almost every great creative that you know. Albert Einstein, Steve Jobs, Leonardo da Vinci, all of these people were constantly fueling their creativity with action. Becoming a more creative person can unlock a potential in you that you never knew you had. Being more creative can help you become a person who's conditioned to embrace challenges. Creativity will give you the ability to use imagination to generate new, abstract, innovative ideas that set you apart from the rest, increasing your chances of success in any workplace, in many areas of life, if not all areas of life. Creativity enables us to solve complex problems and find interesting new ways to approach tasks. Albert Einstein said, "The true sign of intelligence is not knowledge, but imagination." Knowledge, of course, is very valuable, but here Einstein himself suggests that true genius lies in imagination and creativity. And that, my friends, is why we have to take the time to work on our creative potential. Einstein is a great example of a person who is both creative and logical. At the end of this video, I'm going to elaborate on the balance of creativity and knowledge and why it's such a necessity for us. For now, before we get into what exactly you can do to improve your creativity, let's talk about what creativity actually is so you can better understand it and improve it. Creativity is the ability to take existing elements from the world and our imagination, then rearrange these elements in our own way to bring something new and purposeful into existence. Something truly creative changes the way we see or interact with the world. Creativity propels innovation forward and offers great rewards for people who take the time to think creatively. The basis of creativity is idea generation. It's mental flexibility. It's explorative thinking through our memory bank. A creative person needs to be an explorative type of person, thirsty for more and more knowledge. The more knowledge you gather, the more information you have to draw upon for your creativity. To be more creative, you have to put in the work. We need to consume to create. Creativity is often thought of as a divine spark or a light bulb turning on, but the truth is, becoming more creative in whichever domain you choose, whether that be art or your work, requires showing up consistently to collect the knowledge and to work on your craft. Creativity is just a skill like any other. We must make time to learn and practice that skill. Make it a point to do something creative every day. Make it a point to learn something new every day. Aside from putting in the work, a lot of what makes a person more creative is mindset. Understanding how the brain and body works so we can keep ourselves in an optimal state to let our creativity really flourish. In his quite amazing book, The Creative Act, Rick Rubin said the most creative people in history are the ones who are able to maintain a childlike enthusiasm and perspective. Expanding our creative potential can be directly related to the way we think and feel. As children, we're more creative because we're so much more unbound from the pressures of the adult world, so much more free from the social pressures and judgments, so much more free from the analytical perspective that things need to be done a certain way. As children, we are living in the moment. We're more radically honest. We have a greater ability to move from emotion to emotion without holding on to the story. One of the worst things we commonly do as adults is lose our childlike joy, enthusiasm, and perspective. Losing those things is truly a creativity killer. The practice of living mindfully is one of the ways we can reconnect with this way of being and increase our creative potential. Living mindfully is about getting out of our thoughts and feelings. It's about being grounded and present in each moment. It is presence, awareness, reflection, and appreciation. When we live mindfully, we direct our attention to the joy in each present moment. Take the time to look at everything deeply. See the joy in places others do not. See the beauty in the mundane. This is how we can begin to slow down and free our mind. And this is how we can find inspiration in everyday life. When you're mindful and grateful, your thoughts become clean and clear. You're able to connect with yourself and other things around you. You begin to appreciate the little things in life, like the air we breathe, the sun in the morning, the wind in the trees, the smell of the rain, the soothing hydration that clean water brings, the taste of delicious food, levels of dopamine, the neurotransmitter of pleasure, serotonin, the neurotransmitter of happiness, and GABA, the neurotransmitter of calmness, all rise in response to living mindfully like this. When we live mindfully, our brains spend more time in the alpha and theta brain states, which are the states responsible for creativity, relaxation, visualization, and dreaming. I really can't even truly explain how different you'll begin to feel when you make this mindfulness practice a habit. When this mindfulness practice becomes like a living, walking meditation. The more I become locked into this state, the better everything in my life gets in the most miraculous ways. I begin to feel like a magnet for positive experiences and healthy people. I feel myself being a source of upliftment to the people around me. I feel stronger, more inspired, more energized, and more productive. Science actually agrees with all of this making sense in relation to our creativity. To be more creative, we need to be in a good mood. We want to be in this mindful state, which in turn puts us in a good mood. Because we are living in the moment, we are choosing our thoughts and attention. We're choosing how we want to feel. We're choosing gratitude, choosing to pull the joy out of small experiences, choosing the chemicals that our body is releasing instead of letting external circumstances choose for us. A good mood increases creativity, and a bad mood increases our analytical thought. When we're in a bad mood or tired, the brain limits our options to the tried and true. It limits our options to what we know works easiest, to the logical and the obvious. When we're in a good mood, this opens up the mechanisms for our mind to think creatively. So being happy, task switching, and getting rest is very important. To maintain a good mood, we want to maintain healthy habits. A daily gratitude practice, mindfulness practice, proper nutrition, regular exercise, and a good night's rest still remain the best recipe for increasing your happiness and well-being. Gratitude trains the brain to focus on the positive, which boosts our mood. Mindfulness teaches the brain to be centered, calm, focused, and non-reactive, amplifying our ability to think creatively and problem solve. Exercise lowers our stress, flushing cortisol from our system while increasing feel-good chemicals. A good night's rest increases our energy levels, giving us more resources for creative challenges. Finding and being open for inspiration is an essential part of how we fuel our creativity. For inspiration to flow, our minds need space for the new. Our minds are often so distracted that we lose the space for new innovative ideas to enter. We lose a deeper connection to our creativity and everything around us. Get off the phone, go outside. Spending time in nature is a great way for us to make mental space and renew our connection to our creative mind. Nature has long been considered a rich resource for creative inspiration. Nature helps our mind focus, boosts our energy levels, reduces activity in the part of the brain that causes stress and anxiety, while also increasing our feel-good chemicals. Spending time in nature can also help us tap into our subconscious mind, where most of our experiences and information is stored. If you're trying to come up with a new idea or solve a problem, trying too hard can actually get in the way, overwhelming our conscious mind with floods of competing thoughts and ideas. This is where nature comes in to help, and why sometimes we have to task switch and step away. Creativity is nurtured and nourished in a quiet, peaceful environment, and this is why some of the most creative people find themselves needing more and more alone time. They grow to realize how beneficial this peace of mind is for their creativity to really flourish. So far, this has all been about the mind, the psychology, and the neurology of creativity. But once we have these mindsets and practices more under control, what systems and processes do creative people do to come up with their brilliant ideas? Rick Rubin has a 3-step process for capturing and growing creative ideas. This process consists of the seed phase, the experimental phase, and the crafting phase. The first phase, the seed phase, is where we brainstorm. Creative people habitually brainstorm. This means whenever inspiration strikes, we write it down. We're collecting as many seeds as we can to look back on later. Don't focus too much on how large or small, how ripe or rotten each seed is. Just collect them as you find them. This phase should not require too much effort or attention. It's more of a gentle collection of possible ideas. Phase 2 is where we revisit these seeds in the experimental phase. Having a large list of possible ideas will give us a larger sample size to compare all of our ideas with. Collecting ideas and revisiting them gives us the time for the initial hit of excitement from discovering the seed to wear off a bit, letting us take a clearer look at the idea to see if it's in fact something we really want to work on. We then take the time to start watering the seed or seeds that we still find most interesting. We are looking to see if any of these seeds will root and begin to sprout. Not every seed must grow. There may be a right time for each one, so consider holding on to all your ideas for later rather than discarding them. Pay attention to what ideas keep sparking excitement for you. This excitement or passion tends to be a great way to show you where to direct your focus. If that excitement remains, no matter how many times you step away and come back, then it's a good indication of something you should put your attention to. The third step is the crafting phase, where we can put our ideas to the test. We need to get down to business and form our ideas into something physical. Many creatives are really good at generating ideas, but lack the discipline or knowledge to execute them into physical objects. Generating ideas can also become kind of addicting because they're so exciting. And the crafting phase, to some creatives, can feel a little less alluring. If there's an area we lack in, we can start by programming our minds to love the process and see it in a different way. This process is actually a wonderful part of the creative journey. There's so much joy in being able to follow a design and create something that was once an idea into a physical object, especially if that object is something that changes the way people see or interact with the world. It can be hard at first, but trust me, when you're done, it's one of the best feelings you can ever imagine. Being able to see your idea come to life is unlike anything else. All that being said, creativity is a skill for everybody, a skill we all need to develop, a skill that is so essential for helping us in any area of life. When we combine knowledge and creativity with drive and passion, we become a force to be reckoned with. When we combine being a dreamer with being somebody who practically executes those dreams, we become one of the highest versions of ourselves. While Einstein said the true sign of intelligence is not knowledge but imagination, what's also true is that the balance of both knowledge and creativity are equally important in us achieving our highest potential. You can have a very knowledgeable person who lacks imagination, or a very imaginative person who lacks and does not apply knowledge. A person overly imaginative will get lost in their dreams, and a person overly knowledgeable will get stuck in the facts or assumptions of what can or can't be done. You could be knowledgeable without the imagination to do something extraordinary with it, and you could be imaginative without the knowledge to be able to apply it to the world we live in. Both are equally important and complement each other very well. Knowledge and imagination, science and spirit, intellect and creativity, the rational mind and the intuitive mind, the physicist and the mystic, the reality of the world we see and the reality of the world that's yet to meet the eye. Imagination will take you far. Knowledge will ground you. Each and every one of us has this potential if we choose it. Focusing on bringing a balance of creativity and knowledge into your life is one of the best things you can do. Creativity is so essential for taking your life to new levels. I hope this video has helped you see some of the benefits that creativity has to offer. Wishing you the best in all of your creative endeavors. Like, subscribe, and share if you found value here and want to support the channel. And I'll see you guys in the next one.